I knew how to anticipate all the objections. I knew how to not take, I still know how to not take people's BS. Guys, I wrote over 5K today. I'm still doing it. I love it. I love the thrill of it. I love getting on the phone. I love being an expert. And that's what you guys should focus on. If you don't feel like you're there yet, focus on becoming an expert so that you can overcome any objection. And that is just the reps and it's the confidence. Before I was in insurance, I had done some sales stuff. I definitely had dabbled in sales, done some sales stuff. And I was just at a juncture in my life where I wasn't doing anything at the time. It was after COVID. I had closed a small business I had. I had a daughter. We moved to Texas. There was a lot going on. And I was hungry for an opportunity, but I knew what I didn't want to do. And that's when I heard about insurance. And I kid you not, I heard about insurance on Instagram. When I heard about it, I'm sure a lot of you guys feel this way. I was like, wait, I can make all this money from home in my guest room or wherever. This is crazy because I was used to, I'm in my 30s. So I remember a time where you had to when you did sales, you had to drive all over. You had to meet with people. You had to sit with them at Starbucks or in their office. So I just couldn't believe that you could make a lot of money from home like that. And I mean, it's totally lived up to its everything they promised, right?
I love that. Hey guys, you gotta keep posting on Instagram if you're prospecting for agents. This is a good testament for you to keep, right, D? Just keep on posting on IG to prospect for potential new agents, right? So
You don't know who's watching.
you
And
never know who's
TikTok too
watching.
now, TikTok. I just
TikTok
got
is
a
big.
recruit today from TikTok.
Look
Yeah.
at that. You have great content on your page. Do you mind sharing your IG page? You have great content. So
And I put it in the chat.
awesome. So let me ask you this, Mallory. So how did your first month go in life insurance? Or how your first month or first 90 days go? Because a lot of agents on this line, they're new. They're in the first 90 days. So you can probably relate, they can relate to your story. So how did your first 30 days, 90 days go as a brand new agent?
So I got licensed, got contracted, and we were starting with a large group of people that had all gotten recruited at the same time. And one day, me and the girl, her name's Adelphi, we're still friends. We looked at each other on Zoom, of course, and we were like, we were kind of leaning on each other and we're like, well, I guess we should start selling today. And she's like, or I think we said tomorrow. And she said, yeah, we'll just start tomorrow. Like nobody told us. So we bought leads and I'm with Family First Life. So we bought our leads on Integrity Center. They're like $1 cheap leads. And we just bought a bunch and we just started calling the little old ladies and all the people. And if I remember correctly, I made a sale on my first day. It was an Americo. Do you guys write Americo?
Oh, yeah, yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay, sorry. I wrote an Americo sales little final expense policy, and I was just like, oh my God, like I just did it. It's not that deep. Like as long as you're caring about the person, putting them in a good situation, it was like, this is awesome, right? So if I remember correctly, because I don't have my numbers anymore, the database that I used there, it's been wiped. But I think my first month I did 8,000 IP,
Nice.
which isn't, no, it's not good. It's not
Okay,
good.
not good. No
No,
bueno.
not good. It was not good. But my point is, if I remember correctly, the next month I kind of increased it. And by my third month, if I remember correctly, I was in the high 20s, low 30s in 90 days. And so my thing was I was scaling and I was just working it, man. I wasn't, a lot of people start and they're kind of like, oh, I'm just going to ease in. I'm going to work once a week. I was like, no, let's go. Let's get this down. And another thing you guys may not know about me is I had a baby. My daughter was 1. My
Wow.
daughter was 1 and she wasn't in school. And I was like, I have to figure this out. So I hired someone in my community, in my neighborhood, and I just said, hey, will you come watch my daughter like in my house for a little bit of money? I think it was like, I don't, $10. I don't even know how much. It wasn't a lot because I couldn't afford a lot. And she's like, yeah, sure. So she would come watch my daughter. And I was just in here like dialing. And I took it seriously because I knew my time was limited. So
Wow.
yeah, it was a ramp up the first 90 days, but I believe that I could do it.
So your first month 8,000, month three over 20,000.
Yeah, it was
So
definitely a good amount. Yeah.
yeah, so like and how many days a week, how many dials a day, like how many presentations were you shooting for per week? Do you mind sharing those numbers?
So I'll be honest, it's been so long. I don't want to act like I remember exactly, but I worked all day. I worked as much as I could. When I tell you I was obsessed, guys, I was obsessed. I was also running like, you know how they say find a running mate? Like I had a group of people and we were all learning this together. So we were, and this is another funny thing is me being a woman and a mom, I could have leaned on that and said, well, I should go easy. I don't need to work that hard. But a lot of the people that started with me, they didn't have kids or they were like younger guys. And in the insurance industry, it tends to attract like, at least where I'm at, a lot of young males. So I was trying to keep up with them. So if they were working till 8, I was like, well, heck, I'm working till 8. And I just made it work with my family. And my thing was the time that I was sacrificing on the front end, I knew I was going to get it back once I built my business. And it's been amazing because now in my fourth year, we're taking vacations, we're able to do quality things together. And my kids are great. Like I didn't sacrifice that time with them, but I did work a lot of hours in the beginning. I would say we would start dialing at 8 a.m. and we were just one call closing. Is that what you guys are doing? One call
Yep.
closing?
Yep.
One call closing and, take breaks here and there. But I was working in the evenings. I was working in the evenings. Yeah.
Like 10, 11,
I
12.
don't know, not that late. I would say 8. I would say 8, 7 to 9, because that's when the action's happening,
Yeah. Yeah. So
you
you
know?
so you go from 8 to 8 and you don't really remember, was your goal like three presentations per day, two sales per day? Like,
If I remember correctly, and you have to forgive me because I sold final expense, then I moved to mortgage protection about a year and a half into it. And so I kind of changed how I was doing things, and now I'm doing it a different way. So I've had like, if it makes sense, I've had chapters in this, so it's
yeah,
hard for me to remember because it's
yeah.
evolved. Um, but I remember that we would say you had to do 5 presentations a day, if I remember correctly. It was either
Yeah.
3 to 5, and you would close one of those. So
Were you always
that
doing
was,
that?
yeah, I was focusing on presentations and I was buying fresh leads. I was buying fresh leads every other day. Have you guys ever heard of Nectar Leads? It was really hot for a while. Nectar.
Never heard of it, no.
Okay. They don't have it anymore, so I'm not plugging their leads. But you would just like, you'd have your card on file and you would just click a button and it was like do 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 do, and it would just put a credit and it would just roll the leads, and we just rolled with it. It was great.
That's amazing. So what I'm hearing from you is like, which I think a lot of agents need to do is in the beginning is to build the repetition up because the repetition allows your skill set to get better. And the more your skill set gets better, the more income you make. So it's almost like you're allowing yourself to buy back your time with so much repetition on the front end. Now your skill set is so good. So then by month 6 or month 12 or month 18, all the objections you're hearing, you already heard it before many, many times. It's kind of like it's nothing to you. Is that kind of what I'm
I
hearing?
I became a killer. I knew how to anticipate all the objections. I knew how to not take, I still know how to not take people's BS. Guys, I wrote over 5K today. I'm still doing it. I love it. I love the thrill of it. I love getting on the phone. I love being an expert. And that's what you guys should focus on if you don't feel like you're there yet. Focus on becoming an expert so that you can overcome any objection. And that is just the reps and it's the confidence, right? And so that's what I focused on was just I was competitive. I wanted to be the best. If I was number 3, I wanted to, if I was number 5, I wanted to be in the top 3. If I was 3, I wanted to be number 1. And I don't know how your agency is, but I think it's healthy to have competition. I think you should want to show people what you've got and just go for it. Not everyone's like that. That's how I was. And then the other thing that drove me is just I had so much gratitude for this opportunity because in my mind, if I wasn't sitting here, making $1,000 a day or whatever, I was going to be out there driving all over in traffic, really being away from my family. I'd rather be away from my family working in like a little uh, guest room or at a desk in my house than like, somewhere else. Does that resonate with you guys? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of how I was thinking. So I just had so much gratitude that I'm like, let's go. Let's do this nonstop, right?
So fast forward, you're now last year. I mean, 650 and
620. I should have
oh,
let him go with it. I should have let him go with it.
620. Issue paid?
Yeah, 620 issue paid. I have the receipts. The year before that, 425.
Jeez
Yeah.
Louise, you're a beast. You're a dog.
It was.
So walk me through that. Like, how much is that looking like as far as lead costs per month?
So remember how I said there were chapters and I kind of
Yeah.
evolved? So I started out in
Mhm.
final expense. I kind of capped in the 30s.
Mhm.
And I know people can do more, but for me, I was capped in like the mid to high 30s. Then my agency moved. It wasn't my decision. They moved to an agency that was doing mortgage protection. And the way that they ran their business and what they wanted everyone to do was purchase mailers, get a virtual assistant, have the virtual assistant dial your mailers, schedule out your day, and then you were just sitting here all day running appointments. So it was very high volume and it was focusing on selling. I'm glad I did it. I learned a ton, but it's a very expensive way to run your business. So I was spending a ton on leads. I probably did that for about a year and a half. And yeah, I mean, I hit really high numbers, but a lot of times the people that are hitting the really high numbers, let's say 800,000, 700,000, a lot of times their expenses are about half of that, which
Mhm.
isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that's still good money, but I like to 4x my money. I don't want to just 2x my money. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
It
that's just
does.
honestly
It
how we were
does.
doing it.
It does. So are you running more final expense, mortgage protection, more like IUL right now?
So now I'm still writing mortgage protection, but I'm not doing mailers. What we're doing right now, and I'm not suggesting that everybody, I'm really careful about what I say because I don't want
Yeah.
everyone to think, well, that's it.
Now,
I'm
now
stopping what I'm
they
doing.
won't do it. They won't do it, but you can tell them.
I'm doing self-gen. It's a way to get fresh leads. People still want mortgage protection, but they're going online instead of filling out a mailer, which makes sense because Mike, if you were going to inquire about information, you're probably going to go online, not fill out a mailer and mail it back in
Yeah.
or call in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm focusing on self-gen now. And my numbers won't be anywhere close to what I did last year because my main focus is on new agents, training, recruiting, and that's where I'm putting most of my energy, but I'm still selling because I think it's important to, you know, set an
Yeah.
example.
Let's talk about that. You're building a team, building an agency. You guys are growing at a really high rate. Like, why? What made you want to build a team? And what are you doing now to attract talent?
So I love selling. I think selling is great. In a lot of ways, it's easier to just be a solo producer because you can just focus on your schedule and just worry about yourself. I'm not responsible for other people's success. But when you have an agency, I mean, people don't realize it's a lot because you really do feel responsible for others. And you can't just clock out from the world and, you're always thinking about your team, et cetera, and making sure that they're moving along. I think the way it happened for me was really organic, just naturally from me producing a lot. People want to work with you. They want to see what you're doing. And I care a lot about the people on my team. And so I have a lot of women on my team. A lot of women have wanted to work with me because they hear my story. You're a mom, you're doing it. I have a lot of moms on my team. I have guys too. I have men too, but I have a lot of moms. And I love it because like I understand what it's like to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm being pulled in this direction because I want to be the best mom ever. Right. But I'll also, I need money and I need to put some funds in this bank account and having that pull. And I really think insurance is a great way to do both.
I love
And
that.
and my family's thriving, my business is thriving. So I do think you can do both. But anyway,
Put some love in the chat for all the moms out there. Y'all doing it at a high
dads too.
level.
I never want to leave out the dads because my husband, I'm married, he helps me a lot, and dads, but yeah, moms too.
Put some love
Don't
in the
want to
chat
fix
for the
that.
dads, the grandpas, the uncles, the aunties, the ones that. So let's talk about this, Mallory. So you put in the team. It kind of happened organically. Um,
At first, now it's not organic. Now I'm going for it.
yes.
But
Now
in the
you're
beginning,
intentional. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
now I'm intentional. But in the beginning, it's like people would just
Yeah.
reach out, especially after last year when I wrote 620,000. Beginning of January, my DMs are blowing up, and then being on some of the podcasts like we talked about, it's
Mhm.
just kind of getting out there. Yeah.
No, I love that. So, what do you train a lot of agents now? What do you think are some things looking back, all the agents you train, yourself? What are three things that stops an agent from going from, let's just say, 10,000 a month in income? Like, what are three things that stops an agent from going from where they're at now to 10,000 a month in income?
I would say number one, and I don't know anyone on here, so I'm not calling anyone out, but I would say number one, a lack of mindset, being afraid that if you spend the money, you're not going to make it back. It's that fear of letting go of the money. You have to see that money as an investment. And I know when you hear investment, you're like, yeah, yeah, investment. I mean, no, like an investment, like you're putting it in and you're going to make 4x. Why wouldn't, those are great odds. Why wouldn't you do that? Right. So you've got to be a little bit more trusting with spending the money on leads. If you haven't made I see with my team, if they haven't made a sale in a while, it's because they haven't bought leads in a while. Period. The end. Like,
Hmm.
if I ask them, well, when's the last time you bought leads? And they say 4 weeks ago, well, buy more leads. And I know that's scary, right? It is scary, but you've got to automate that lead spend. You've got to automate. I'm telling you guys, that's the secret is automate the lead spend. And at first, it's going to be rocky for you because you're like, I really can't afford this. I'm really behind on my credit card bill. I get it. When I started insurance, I was telling my team this. I literally couldn't afford the E&O insurance. E&O insurance, you have to pay like, I think like 100 or something dollars down. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, didn't have room on my credit card. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm so glad that it was like that because now I can remember back to that and be like, remember when. So I understand what it's like to feel tight, but you gotta just have faith that it's gonna be a squeeze at first, but once you get in that groove, you're gonna make that, yeah, trust the process, like Jaden just said. Um, and like think about all the times that like there's people that bootleg money to like go to a concert. They'll find money together to go see Taylor Swift or Usher or whoever, but like they can't get money for leads. You know what I mean? Like you just hear crazy stories. Like think of it that way with buying leads. Like it's the greatest concert or whatever you want to do. You'll find a way. Okay, what you asked me for three
Three.
things of how to do 10,000. Um, Audit your schedule. Are you really working or are you on Instagram? Are you really working or are you just, I always say to my team, I'm like, if your mouth's not moving, you're not working. If you're just sitting here and you're like, you're not working. Why isn't your mouth moving? What, like, because we're on Zoom. I'm like, what are you doing over there? So keep the activity going. If you're going to be here working, be here working. You know what I'm saying? Like you're cheating yourself if you're sitting there at the desk during your work hours, but you're not working. And then really lock in on a schedule. Um, Another thing I like to tell people is you've got to prioritize your life. A lot of times we want to build a business, but also say yes to everything. And for that first season of my life, that first year or two, I said no to everything. And me saying no to everything was me saying yes to my business and realize that YOLO and FOMO and all that stuff, with the exception of family. I'm not saying don't go see your grandma or things like that, but all that other stuff will be waiting for you. There'll be more parties, there'll be more concerts, there'll be more brunches. But this opportunity to build your business, it's right now, and you need to walk through that door and you need to make it happen. So I hope that resonates. And then
No.
let's see, I got to think of a third one. So to do 10K, um, get in front of more people. And then another thing I have written down is gratitude for the opportunity, just being grateful. A lot of people cannot wait to get contracted. Oh, my contracting's taking too long. Why is this taking too long? Then the minute they get their contract and it's time to work, it's like breaks. Like, come on, where's that intensity? Remember why you started. Why did you get into this business? Write that down and then remind yourself and get to work. It really comes down to you.
I love this. So I heard leads, routine, and activity pretty much. I love that. That's good. Got one more question for you. One more question for you. So, what is one word you would use to define your career so far as an insurance agent?
Oh, the word that comes to mind is faith.
Hmm.
Me and my sister, I brought my sister in the industry when I started. I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. I think you'd be good. Come on in. And we just talk all the time about we can't believe how much we've changed, how far we've come, how we've just submitted to the process, and how everything has worked out for us, even when things felt like they were falling apart. Because we've had a lot of agency switches and just things like that. It always came back together in a better way. So I would just say have faith in yourself, have faith that you're meant to be here building this business, and just don't try to control every little thing. Just keep showing up and giving your best every day, truly your best. But I would say faith and trust. Yeah.
I love that. This is good. Well, Mallory, God, put some fire emojis in the chat for Mallory. Appreciate you for coming on the line, Mallory. Any lasting words before we end this call for new agents, existing agents, building a team? Any last words you want to give them before we end the call today?
Just I get a little deep, but just keep believing that this is the best opportunity out there, that this is going to be the vehicle to get wherever you want. Nobody thought when they were kids, oh, I want to sell life insurance when I get older, right? But see it as a vehicle to get to where you want to go and a way to develop yourself as a person and get that cash flow. And then, once you grow your business and you're in a secure place, like the sky's the limit. So just have gratitude and thank you so much for having me on. It was great to be here. The energy's great. And follow me on Instagram at the Mallory Cruz. And yeah, thank you so much, Mike.